David, you had a great shot of Mike Sarbaugh that looked like he was thinking about sending him. Would you have sent a Zokar?
Yeah, I mean, not March 3rd. Triple's good enough, and yeah, like you said, no close plays at the plate where we can lose anybody at this point.
Infield in for the Marlins. David, listen, I said it. You looked great in your first outing this spring. Just how'd you feel out there, 3 scoreless?
Yeah, it felt good. It felt good to kind of get in there and see another team and get the game rhythm back. And yeah, it was a good first outing.
David, one of the best parts of this job is to watch a young pitcher start his career and have those little bumps and valleys that come to everyone who plays this game, and then to make that leap forward like you did last year. We talked about it a lot. What did you feel you did better last year than you did maybe in years prior?
Yeah, I think a lot of the stuff was the same. The pitch mix was the same. I think it was just when it came down to it, I felt like it was the consistency of my mechanics, and that started with obviously the hip procedure that I had last off season, and just being able to have that repeatable delivery time and time again, and see my misses kind of get smaller. Some of those arm side misses went away, and I was able to stay on line better. And I think the other thing was getting ahead of guys, first strike, getting 2 strikes. And yeah, so I think that was really the core of kind of what was last year.
David, you've talked so much about that hip surgery and just how health has contributed to the type of year you had last year. For the layman out there, though, who never experienced what you experienced, what specifically was restricted when the hip wasn't right versus what was fixed and what you were able to do last year?
Yeah, I mean, there was obvious discomfort kind of in the front of my hip, and I think the biggest thing was not being able to rotate all the way around, and so I wouldn't sometimes get myself square enough to the target, or my foot would come off the mound a little early, and I felt like once we fixed that and I was able to get some full range of motion, kind of keeping myself in contact with the ground and being able to work down the slope a lot more efficient.
David, spring trainings are different for everyone. In some years you come in and you really have to overhaul your game. Certainly that's not what you have to do this year. What are some of the smaller little refinements that you think you can make to go to even a higher level?
Yeah, I think, kind of being able to realize what it took last year and be able to build off of that, continue to get better. Not really adding anything new, but, just making sure that all 5 pitches are where I want them to be, and being able to see in terms of usage and strategy, just in terms of what we want to do, and pitching to guys and working on our sequences.
David, one of my favorite things that I've seen this spring is videos of your young son standing by as you're throwing your bullpens, imitating. Just how special is that to be able to have him out here when he was here and doing that type of stuff alongside you?
Yeah, it's been awesome. Just to be able to have him around, and he's getting to the age where he kind of realizes what's going on and loves baseball. So when I leave the field, we have 4 to 6 more hours of baseball, and so I'm trying to stay high on the recovery side here with how much he's got me going.
Is he left-handed?
He's not, no. But the arm strength's there, so I'm excited to see how he develops.
David Peterson, awesome as always. Thanks for the time.
Thanks, guys.
Well, we are now joined by Mark Vientos, who just came out of the game. Mark, Steve, and Ron in the booth. Thanks so much for joining us.
How we doing, guys? What's up?
We're doing well. This first question is going to be one that throws you for a loop, but you grew up in Florida, and last night I went to my first pig auction at the St. Lucie County Fair. You ever been to a pig auction before?
Never have I ever. That's awesome, though.
It was.
Was it cool?
It was really cool.
Okay.
It was really cool. Mark Vientos, more importantly, coming off a breakout year, what is the biggest difference for you this spring, confidence-wise, how you work, just knowing that you solidified yourself and you're not fighting for a roster spot in a way that you always have been?
I think we talked about this other day. Just it's more calm just coming into this season and spring, and just kind of knowing what I did last year. I've always been a confident player, but I have a little bit more confidence because I did it last year. So, but it's the same mentality. I'm trying to prove myself every single year. I'm trying to work my tail off. I'm trying to learn as much as possible. And I'm fortunate that I have a great group of guys around me to learn as much as possible.
Boy, that's the best mentality to have all the time. So you play with some big stars here, Lindor and Alonso, and now you've got one of the biggest stars in the game that you've signed. He's going to be playing right field for you. Are there things that you try to pick up as you watch him? I mean, everyone in the game knows he's got one of the best approaches in the game. Takes one of the best at-bats in the game. Is there anything that you're watching so far that maybe you could use in your own game?
I'm watching his cage routine. I think how he goes about his business is a big reason to why he is the player he is. And like you said, his approach is one of the best. I'm watching. I love the fact that I'm around such great players because they have the blueprint. They have the blueprint for me, and I'm just trying to observe as much as possible.
Mark, when we talked the other day about Soto specifically, you said he's different. He's just different. How? How is he different?
I mean, you gotta watch his BP. I'll tell you, we watching his BP is different. Hitting line drives the other way, 112. I'll tell you, that's different. So, but like I said, he's 26 years old, and he has the mind of a guy that's 30-something that's been doing it for a while, and it's impressive. It's impressive to be around, and I'm grateful that I could pick his brain every day.
How do you feel so far about the defensive progression that you've made? You made great strides last year, but I know you're still working hard on that end.
I'm working my tail off every single day. I just like the fact that there's always room for improvement in this game. And especially my pre-pitch, that's something that we've been on top of this spring training, and I'm getting better and better.
Mark, it was awesome to watch last season. Looking forward to seeing what you can do for an encore. Thanks so much for the time.
Appreciate you guys.
Stay healthy.
Much love.